Hey guys, and welcome back to the Watch Scientist channel. Today we have a very special video because you join me here at TripleCrown Watches. They very kindly let me film a few of their very exclusive watches. So a huge thank you to TripleCrown. I'll leave all their details in the description down below. So today we have three watches here, but I'll focus more on two of them, which will be the yellow gold SkyDweller and then the Daytona on the Oyster Flex, a white gold watch. So two gold watches we'll be focusing on today. Also, it would mean a lot to us if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel, as it helps us out a lot. So let's start off with the SkyDweller. This is a 42mm watch in 18 karat yellow gold from Rolex on an oyster bracelet. They do come on a Jubilee as well, but not the yellow gold version. It has an intense white dial, that's at least how Rolex calls it, but I've never seen this style in person, and now I do understand why they call it intense white. It's really a special white, it's not boring at all. Usually with the SkyDweller I would go for a blue dial, maybe black, but I do have to say that this white dial goes very well with the yellow gold. It looks stunning. It has a screw down crown which gives it 100 meters of water resistance. It's a travel watch. It has two different time zones, which we'll get back to a little bit later. A fluted bezel. Now this is the only Rolex with a fluted bezel that is actually bidirectional, because of the functions of this watch, and that's something we'll get back to a little bit later. Other than that, it has obviously a sapphire crystal, so it is scratch resistant, an oyster bracelet and a standard clasp. But what we have inside of this watch is much more interesting. In fact, this is actually the most complicated watch that Rolex is producing at the moment, because we have the caliber 9001 inside, which is obviously a COSC certified movement with 72 hours power reserve, which is the new Rolex standard. But more interestingly, this is actually an annual calendar and it has a second time zone. So the way that Rolex has done this is actually quite genius, because you have this off-center circle on the dial, which shows you your second time zone at a glance. You have the red little triangle in the middle, and that's where you read off your second time zone. But that's not the only thing this watch has to offer. This is only your second time zone, which I think is much more legible than a GMT function, which you would have on the GMT Master from Rolex, where you have to read the second time zone with a second time zone hand, and then you have to read off the time zone of the bezel. Whereas here you just look at the red triangle, you look at what hour it is in your second time zone, and there you have it. The minutes are obviously the same in your two time zones. But then as well you have the annual calendar function, which basically is included in the outer ring of the dial, where you have little apertures which are filled with a red dot depending on the month of the year which we are in. So to explain this, since we have obviously 12 hours on a dial, on a standard dial, and we have 12 months of the year, depending on which month of the year we're in, the little red dot will fill that spot. So say the red dot is filling the spot at 9 o'clock, then that means the ninth month of the year, that would be September. And because of that, the watch will always know which month has 30 days and which month has 31 days. So you don't even have to adjust your date except for March 1st, because the watch cannot identify February, since February has 28 days. And then you have the leap years as well. But apart from that, you don't have to change the date all year if you would wear it, since this is an automatic movement. As I said, 72 hours power reserve, COSC certified, and the Rolex standard is +2 to -2 seconds a day, which is extremely precise. So really an incredible travel watch. It's a sports watch, and I think there's something about gold sports watches. I think it's very, very cool, very interesting. So actually the way this works to adjust all these things, as I said, the bezel is actually bidirectional, so you can control the bezel, which is not the case for any other fluted bezel Rolex. And the way it works, you unscrew your crown. As I said, a screw down crown allows the water resistance to be at 100 meters. You pull it out, and then your bezel can actually turn, which is, I've never done this actually. This is so cool, really good feel to it. And it has 3 positions. So if you rotate it counterclockwise 3 times, you can first set your second time zone. So that little circle in the middle will rotate. And that's how you set your second time zone. Then you set your position of the bezel clockwise from one position, so you get back, you turn it back. And that's how you set your main time zone. And if you rotate the bezel once more back to the clockwise position, so in its first position, that's where you can set your date. And then you screw the crown back in, and that's it. Very simple to operate, and I think it's very cool that they integrated the function of the bezel so seamlessly. Since, I mean, looking at the watch, you wouldn't think it rotates, and that makes the watch so elegant. It is full of complications, but at the same time it's elegant. It doesn't necessarily give away from its design that it is a watch with so much complication. Again, Rolex's most complicated or most complex watch at the moment. If you look up close, you can see that the hour hand and the minutes hand are skeletonized towards the bottom of the hand so that you can read off your second time zone when it passes the red triangle. So the second watch we're looking at is the Daytona in white gold on the Oyster Flex band. So it's not bracelet, it's a rubber band, and it's one hell of a rubber band because this is one of the most comfortable rubber straps I've ever had on my wrist. You may remember a bit more than a year ago I filmed the rose gold counterpart of this watch, so basically exactly the same specs apart from the material being rose gold. So again, I'm filming 2 gold watches here. This is not a steel watch, it's a white gold watch, and I'll get back to why I'm filming 2 gold watches today a bit later, but let's look at the Daytona first. So this is a 40mm case, so a little bit smaller than the SkyDweller, and it's also a little bit thinner, wearing more elegant on the wrist, I'd say, and a little bit more sporty. The Daytona is such a perfectly sized watch in every aspect, in every way possible. I've seen Daytonas on women's wrist, and I think it fits women perfectly as well. So a 40mm white gold 18 karat case. It's a chronograph watch, obviously. It has a ceramic bezel with a tachymeter scale. It is a steel dial with black sub-dials. You have your running seconds, you have the chronograph function, as I said. The strap is rubber, and then you have a white gold clasp as well. It's a folding clasp, very smoothly operating as well. It's honestly a lovely watch in every way possible. So obviously also a sapphire crystal and screw down pushers, as well as a screw down crown, again allowing the watch to have a water resistance of 100 meters. So it's in that sense it's a sports watch. Would I take this swimming? Absolutely not. I wouldn't take any gold watch swimming for that matter. But it's good to know that if you go shower with it or if you wash your hands, you don't have to worry at all. What do we have inside of the watch then? It's the movement or the caliber 4130, which is also a power reserve of 72 hours. So as I said, this is the new Rolex standard for their power reserve, which I think it's quite a nice amount that you have in there. It's quite similar to my Tudor Pelagos. Obviously it's a chronograph. You have a stop function, you have the chronograph hand, which is accurate to 1/8 of a second. It can measure up to 12 or count up to 12 hours. So you have the running seconds at 6 o'clock, you have the counter of the hours at 9 o'clock, and you have the minute counter at the 3 o'clock position. Now both watches have chromalite, which is the luminova that they have on the indices. Very good lume on these watches, as you would expect from Rolex. And something that you might have not known about the Oyster Flex band is that on the inside you can see these little protruding bits of rubber, which are actually there to keep your wrist from sweating. And I think, again, these are the little details that Rolex pays attention to, as well as the fact that actually inside of the rubber, it's not a full rubber strap in that sense. You have a little piece of metal that gives the rubber a certain shape so that it still shapes nicely around your wrist. Again, these are little details that you might not know, but I'd say are important to know when it comes to a brand like Rolex. But I decided to choose 2 gold Rolexes for a very specific reason, and I think this is something that is being overlooked. But if you look at the price, or more importantly the value increase of Rolexes, there's an insane jump obviously over the recent years. But if I remember about 2 years ago, if I would walk past a Rolex store, or if I would go in and inquire about a watch, usually the gold watches would be more available than the steel pieces, whereas now nothing is available anymore. There's quite an important hype going on, and so I think that the role of gold is coming back slowly to kind of even out this craze. And I think a lot of brands are putting out a lot of interesting gold watches again, which might be an indicator that gold watches are increasingly becoming more sought after again and more interesting. I mean, look at Omega as well. They have made very interesting releases on their Speedmaster, whether it's the rose gold Speedmaster from 2021 or the new releases with the green dial, the yellow gold Speedmaster. This is now Omega, but you also got brands like Zenith that have released a rose gold El Primero, and various other brands putting out quite interesting gold watches recently. So yeah, I think gold is coming back. A big thanks again to TripleCrown Watches for letting me film here. Anyways, that's it from me today, guys, but before you leave, it would mean so much to us if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, as it helps us out a lot. And there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up as well, so do stay tuned. Let us know in the comments down below what watch you would choose. We love to interact with you guys, and see you next time. Ciao.